For more on these trade tensions, I'm joined by Marc Ross. He's founder of Caracal Global, a strategic communications firm based here in Washington, D.C. So we're watching the clock, $200 billion, up to 25% tariffs. We've seen this coming. We've talked about it for weeks. Is this the tipping point? Is this pushing the trade war over the edge?
Yeah, it could really be a big day. I mean, frankly, one of the most unprecedented days we've seen in the U.S.-China commercial relationship, one that sadly isn't positive, that could be really negative for a lot of folks on both sides of the Pacific.
You know, it appears that this comment period that we've seen did very little to sway any minds to keep this from happening, as we've seen it a couple of times before this summer. China is ready to retaliate. What are you going to be watching for in the weeks and months ahead? And what can ordinary people do and watch for as these things sort of take effect?
Yeah, I think there's three things. So we're domestically here in the U.S., we're about 60 days away from a midterm election. Clearly, President Trump wants to use this as a campaign issue. It wouldn't be surprising as he goes to campaign in Montana and North Dakota that he mentions this over the next few days. I think how the Chinese respond, I mean, clearly their economy is slowing a bit. You know, do they deleverage or lower the price of the RMB? Could we see that as a response? And then a bigger issue, frankly, is where do we go from here? I mean, the biggest problem, as Jessica alluded to, is that these are global supply chains that have been fashioned over the last few decades, and simply applying tariffs doesn't mean you're going to switch manufacturing quickly in or out of China or into other markets. This is a bigger issue. So the fact that the administration in some ways is putting America on a war footing without really going to the public and saying, hey, this is what our plan is kind of disturbing.
Well, I was going to say that a lot of people have indicated that they don't see an end game here. They don't know where this all ends. And the U.S. president has also said at times that he's willing to put tariffs on all Chinese goods.
Yeah,
$500 billion.
Pretty exciting. I mean, why not make it $1 trillion? I mean, there's only so many things you can tax. No, I would say, where are we going with this? The fact that the rhetoric has been so ramped up, there's been really no demand by people on Capitol Hill or even the administration to explain where are we going with this, because clearly there are going to be sacrifices that have to be made. Prices will increase, inflation will increase. I mean, this is a real challenge. And also disappointing is like all we've heard from China is that they're going to respond in kind. They too have not really made any progress, whether it be opening up their markets or even saying, hey, we're going to take steps to strengthen intellectual property. There's a lot of not good stuff happening on both sides of the ocean.
Want to talk about another trade issue happening here in Washington, the one between the United States and Canada, negotiations regarding NAFTA. Where do you see that going? Because both President Trump and Justin Trudeau have said they're willing to walk away from this.
Yeah, once again, you know, I think what's really interesting is that President Trump has been believing that trade essentially has been a bad idea for 30, 40 years. And he really has the opportunity in his mind to change policy. As somebody who grew up in Michigan, I was just back there last week. I've seen Ontario from across the river. I understand global supply chains. People that work in this part of the world across the Great Lakes are moving product back and forth all the time. The way that we assemble products isn't in one market. In fact, we have global supply chains. You take components from different parts. There are specialists around the world. Where it goes with the U.S. and Canada is very troubling. I mean, Canada is our #1 trading partner. Geography-wise, they're right across, I mean, literally across the border, and it's a big market. It's really disturbing. But I think the president is really bent on making this a big issue and seeing where it goes.
Could that happen before Mexico gets its new president? There are these deadlines. Are you optimistic there that something can be done by then?
Possibly. I mean, what's interesting, the new Mexican administration, I think would even be more dangerous for the Trump administration. So it's not surprising that he is, the Trump administration is trying to move a deal quickly. The pressure, the populism that is brewing in Mexico is only growing. So the ability for the U.S. to sign a deal with Mexico sooner rather than later is probably a good strategic move for them.
All right, Marc Ross, always great to hear your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.